Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions MC and producer. And joining me today is the icon, Rayceen Pendarvis. Rayceen.
Greetings and salutations, all.
Thank you, thank you. And of course, we have joining us Greg Yorgey-Girdy. Welcome.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us. So before I get started, I know you've been here with us before before the primary. So now, introduce yourself once more to our audience and, let them know why you're here.
Okay. Hi, I'm Greg Yorgey-Girdy. I'm running for Philadelphia Municipal Court. I am truly honored to say that I did, was on the fourth or last on the ballot and came in first. Through lots of efforts, through lots of prayer, the support of my community and forums such as this. So I'm happy to say that this coming November 2nd, we have nobody running against us. So we pretty much won the race. And I appreciate all the support from anybody who's listening. Thank you so much.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, since you basically won the race already, let everyone know what things you really want to be tackling, once you have, fully secured this position. What are the issues that you really want to tackle in your new position?
Well, first, I want to say I'm the first openly Black gay candidate or nominee, and will be the first openly Black gay judge in the first judicial district of Pennsylvania. That's an honor in and of itself. And I say that because representation matters. I ran because of the implicit biases that go on within the courts. I do have two Black sons, and it's important for me to know that if for some reason they have to appear in front of the court, that just because they have Black faces, they're not automatically found guilty. I think that's really important. So my first step is to tackle implicit biases amongst my colleagues. I think me having a seat at the table, I will demand that we have education and that we bring empathy on the bench when we get there. That's the important thing. And also too, just to have the voices heard of all people.
Certainly, certainly. And go ahead, Rayceen.
I think you check a lot of boxes when you talk about first. You check a whole lot of boxes. Not being just the first, I look at you as a man of a certain age, a man of color, an openly Black gay man, as well as all of those things, a man of faith, because you definitely, and that you conveyed that. So there are a lot of boxes checked for you when you walk into your space. For those who sometimes feel the bias of being a Black man in America, being a Black gay man in America, Black gay man of faith in America,
Amen.
And trusting in the court system to do the right things. A lot of times, I know what it feels like when I walk into a courtroom as someone who has been a juror. A lot of times, because of the things that my hands are involved in, a lot of times I am so entrenched in my community that a lot of times that I end up knowing the judge, many of the jurors, many of those on trial, the lawyers. So I know what it feels like for those people who look at us and all of us around us saying, do we really believe? Because I always say, if that time comes, which I hope it never does, if I'm put in a place where I really have to trust the system, are there people who really won't look at me at just one thing, and because of their biases, hold that against me? So I feel a lot of times as folks going into courtrooms, I pray for them. And it is so important that they know that they walk into a space that is one affirming and fair.
Yes.
Certainly,
and I feel that you will bring all of that.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the kind words. And I love how you put a man of a certain age. I'm going to use that. I love that. And you're correct on that. I think it's really important too. We also have a big problem with courts dealing with mental illness and substance abuse. So we have to also address that. I'm in the process of hiring staff that are knowledgeable on those subjects. So when people come into court, you come as you are. And it's very, very important. I think that's really, really important. It's important for me to get back to my community again. So throughout this campaign and afterwards, I'll still be an active part of my community.
Certainly. And what really are the responsibilities, that entails being a municipal court judge in Philadelphia?
Well, we do a couple of things. One, it's a small claims court, so that's important, especially with debt collection. And that's a big problem in the area, particularly after the COVID and after unemployment and all kinds of issues like that. So we have to have judges that know the law and the facts, but also be emotionally aware of what's going on. So much is at stake for both the defendant and the plaintiff. Also, landlord tenant. That's another issue that's really big and that has different ramifications for all parties at stake. And the big thing is criminal court, which I'm personally passionate about because I believe in second chances, third chances, because people, especially young people, when they're not nonviolent crimes, I think a lot of times they hold this stigma just by the color of their skin. But if you tack on, let's say, an incarceration or some sort of a probation, that also not allow them to have a job, and they're already a couple of steps back in their lives when they're going forward. So I think that's really big as well.
And I know for a lot of people, especially within these marginalized communities, seeing someone that looks like them and, probably share similar experiences is really important to them, especially for those who don't necessarily trust the justice system, the judicial system that much. What do you have to say to, people out there who, they have this lack of trust in the system, and, how your role now can help to kind of change the outlook on that and, help to kind of change things?
Well, the first thing is to take people as they are and have respect. As soon as someone comes in the courtroom, I think a lot of times judges feel they have a certain amount of power. So automatically they try to intimidate. Well, I don't think they purposely try to intimidate, but people are afraid when they go into court. You may be losing your liberty. Sometimes life is at stake. So it's important to be respectful. Of course, keep a tight courtroom, but just make sure everyone's respectful, and also educate people throughout the process. I think just slowly guiding people through the process of what's going to happen. And I think at the end of the day, when the court is done, even if it's not a favorable decision, that person comes out and say, well, I may not have won, but I feel like my voice was heard, I was respected, and they really listened to me. The whole court, everyone in the court, judges and everyone on down, should be respectful to all parties.
Certainly, certainly. And so how long is this term going to be?
It's a 6-year term here in Pennsylvania. And after the 6 years, it's called a retention election, where you just say yes or no to retain.
I see.
And so that's wonderful to know, because you don't have to go through the whole process of getting back out there and running for an election again. You just say,
God
yes,
is good, because it was rough. It was rough. You put yourself out there. Me, personally, it was tough because it's some people within my own community, and I'm talking about the Black community, that are not very comfortable with me. And one of my things to them, I say, is you may not like me, but I love you. And I'm going to represent you, whether you like me or not, because this is important to me. You don't have to like me, but I love you. And I just keep it moving.
And that's
I
it.
love it.
And
Love
dishonors. Not love dishonors. Love disarms those who do not love us or appreciate us. When you love on people, they can't help but hate you. But let me ask you this: what was the turning point in your life that made you decide to come into law and then pursue this particular avenue?
I think the big thing with me as a kid growing up in Texas, in South, my grandmother was a real big, important part of me. And she introduced Thurgood Marshall to me and how he was a civil rights leader. And I thought that was really important to me. And I've always stood up for the unheard. My cousin was really quiet. He got picked on quite a bit. And I felt like it was always necessary for me to stand up for him. And I think as I went through life, I've always had a big mouth, so to speak, although I do like the behind the scenes and getting things done. And I always wanted to push for my community, people who normally don't have that voice. That always bothered me. When I moved to Philadelphia, when I did go to law school, I knew what I wanted to do. Initially, I wanted to help elders. Elder law was my thing, and I never even touched it. Never even went towards that. So I went to something else, civil defense law, litigation. And I enjoyed litigation quite a bit, but I did notice some things within the court system, within itself, that there was racial tension within the court system. And I actually wrote an op-ed here in Philadelphia that, you know, judges have racism amongst themselves. And if that happens, imagine how they treat the people that come in front of them. And so when I spoke on that and rolled some feathers, and I said, you know what, since it riled folks up, let me run then. And I'm really show you. And so and we're at here today, and I think it resonated quite well with the voters. And I do mean to say, when I do get into on the bench, I do plan on being a force. And you will know me, you will know my community, and you will respect us.
Certainly.
I do want to say period, but you know, that's
period. I love it. Yeah. So when does early voting begin before the general, and remind us when the general is again?
The general is November 2nd, and I apologize. I am not sure of early voting because I know that we do here in Pennsylvania, we have mail-in voting, and that is now. So you register the mail-in vote, and you can start doing that now. The ballot is already I don't know if it's printed, but it's available for viewing. It's the Philadelphia City Commissioner's Office. You can see a copy of that. I'm actually ballot number 117 on that ballot, but you can see all of it and the questions if they have them.
Certainly. Well, I do want to remind viewers that if you want to check your voter status, you know, and register to vote, you can just text Team Rayceen to 40649. Once again, that's Team Rayceen to 40649. Pledge to vote, check your status, and register to vote. Gregory, thank you so much for joining us today. Soon we'll be calling you Justice. Who knows? Chief Justice. Let's
slow down a little bit. Hopefully.
You never know. You never know. Thank you so much for joining us today, and, you know, always being able to come here and talk with us and, you know, share with our viewers. And I mean, you can't lose, but we do wish you the best of luck on the campaign trail, as you know, it slows on, and best of luck in the position when you get it. Thank you so much. And to our viewers, thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.